There. So now let's move to the geometry. So basically, not much to say here. I just want to show you what we're going to do. As usual, video description, you have the link to the document. So here you have, the dimensions. As I say, I'm not an expert doing this one, so I'm giving you the drawings there. So I guess with that you can reconstruct it, but it's not very professional. But in any case, so here you can follow the workflow. So remember that we start everything from a 2D sketch, and then from that to this sketch, you start to build up to construct your geometry. It's a little bit different from the approach taken in direct modeling. For instance, you have used Blender. That is the way how it's done in direct modeling. You manipulate things in 3D. Here you go into 2D. You have a lot of control. So this is what is called a parametrical CAD. Now here you have all the parametrization, the features, the history. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. So here you can follow. You move this bar. You can follow what I'm doing. So see that you click there, you see the sketch, what I was saying. Support geometries and planes are very important. So in this case, I create this plane here to sketch a circle. Then after that circle, you just do this extrusion there, and then you can do some manage bodies and so many operations. So there you can follow all the operations. So a new operation that I can show you here. So important just to stress that I'm using a lot of support plane to do the sketches here and there. Is this one the circular pattern? So just create one and then you just add the circular pattern. So you have all these options available here. And then to show you another one. So at this point, this is our geometry. So look at that, what we have here. We have the vessel, then you have here in the bottom the sparker, then the impeller. But look at that, you have at this point the shaft is not a split, and what we want to do is to put everything that is inside this cylinder into motion. So we need to split the shaft. So look at that, here we have another operation that probably I haven't used, which is split. So basically I'm telling split the impeller using a plane that I create there, and it will do the splitting, and now you have these two parts there that you can use to assemble create your geometry. So now you can export everything and follow the traditional workflow. Okay, nothing changed, exactly the same for the two impellers case. Okay, pretty much the same, nothing changed. Just to stress something that I'm following here probably the wrong standard practice. So in previous videos, I mentioned that it's better to export the geometry as a single solid and then have that create the face group. Okay, do not export single surfaces. In this case, the geometry that we're going to use single surfaces, and then we assemble the body. We saw that it doesn't have much an influence, but it doesn't cost you much. So probably, yeah, I didn't follow my own standard practice, but I recommend you to do that. Okay, and to show you that, let me work with Meshmixer. We already also have been using Meshmixer, and here we'll open. So I exported the geometry here as an OBJ, and this is just external. So basically, as I mentioned here, we have this one, and what I did, the case, then when we open, you're going to have the case. And basically, I have impeller, and then I assemble everything. So it's not the right standard practice. So my recommendation is to do something like this. This is a simple one, so probably if you use surface features, it will work. But I like to use this one here, or Blender. So as you go here, generate face group, and there you go. You have all the face groups. Each color will correspond to a different face group. So probably here you will have too many face group. You would like to have less. It's up to you. But in any case, when you have this face group, you can export. And when you export that, and let me call it test one. All these face groups are safe. You need to save it as OBJ. No, I want to stress that all those face groups I set are saved in the OBJ, and actually I can open this file because no, it was test. Let me go here, and when you look for the keyword G, here it's telling you this is a group. Then you will have another group, and then your task will be identify each of this group, and then you give it a name. Okay, just to know. So in this case, just to show you that now I can open this test, apply, and each color represents a different group. Okay, so this is the way I recommend you to do it. Now you're keeping all the normals, everything is consistent. So just to mention something, then if I press the hotkey W, will show me the triangulation policy. No, it's not. It is okay, but some people prefer to have that nice Delanoy triangulation. So later I will show you. Already have seen that. But for instance, you want to change uh, this face group. Now I can go into selection. I can click like this, and I can select these groups. Okay, easily, because now that I have face group, they are limited. So I do double click and I select just those groups. I can go into modify, create face group, and I have that face group there. Okay, so now this probably is much easier. Probably you want this wall to be in a separate one. It is up to you, but this is what I recommend you to do it. And to show you also at this point as well, for instance, you are not happy with this triangulation. Let me select this face. So if I double click, I will select everything. Okay. So now I need to do a little bit manual selection. Okay, so let me do this just to show you, or better, let me go back. Edit, it's easier now. Select. For instance, if I go here, I go to remesh. Look at that, you have a nice triangulation. As I say, this doesn't change the quality of the mesh. Okay, some people think that maybe, but I have done a lot of benchmark. It doesn't change. What is important in that final mesh or STL that you use, normals needs to be consistent. You cannot have any cracks, holes, and it's extremely recommended to have a single body. Do not assemble the body. That is, to have all these triangles conformal. Okay, they need to be conformal. No, not in a way that I like we saw with the, for instance, with the mixing elbow that I assembled, and there were not conformal. So that can give you some errors when you run surface check, but it doesn't mean that your final mesh will be bad, but may have some influence. Who knows? So look at that. You can control that. Be very careful about this value, because if you put values very small, this stuff is very memory intensive. It use a lot of video memory. So see that it's a very nice triangulation. Then the same you can do here if you're happy. There, if you're happy, clap your hands, and then let me go here. Let me select this, and for instance, just this one. Boom. And then let's do a remeshing of that one. It's not so nice, but let me reduce. And this is already a low value, so okay, it's not doing much. I don't want to go lower because I know that it will be super slow, but let's assume that this is okay and see that you have that. So some people likes to have meshes like this. Fantastic tool to do that. I want to stress the same. You can do it with Blender. So if you want to stay into Linux, Blender can do it a little bit more trickier. Also, something that Blender Prop is, you're doing optimization, probably Blender will be the best tool, because you can put it easily in your optimization loop. Putting Meshmixer into your optimization loop is not that easy. And optimization is another set of videos that we're going to prepare. Okay, so there is another option here. Also recommend you always, when you open a geometry, run the inspector. Inspector is going to tell you if you have errors. So for instance, errors, there can be many things that can be errors. So let me go here and delete that. So if I go into inspector, it will tell me, okay, look at that, you have a hole there. Okay, so let me run it again. You can click here, help, and it will tell you blue are holes. And as you click here, it will close it automatically. So very good how I close it. Or you can do it manually also. So let me show you here the selection here. Delete, and let's see if it managed to do a good close of that. So there, well, not so nice, but it closed the hole. Or probably you can go here, and to show you, select, let me reduce the size of the brush, click here, it will select everything around the hole, and you can go here, erase and close, and you have different methods now here to close that. So now you need to understand a little bit. Remember, there is a help that is really good. I recommend you to read it, but then look for a small case and play a little bit. So you have this and this one that I can add a little bit bulge and can add play scalar. And not bad. Okay, I like. So the automatic one, it closed it, but it didn't follow the tangency here by just changing some parameters. I managed to do a close there. So this is it, okay? So now, just to show you again, you can go export. Let me save it with the same name. Yes, you have it there. I press Pata View. Let's open a Pata View. Open and desktop. Meshmixer, this. And there you go. We have our mesh. And you can look at the groups and extremely important normals. Okay, well, these are not the way to look at the normals. So remember that you have this filter, you have a normal glyph, put it there, and they should be all pointing in the same direction. It doesn't matter if they are outward, inward, but should be in the same direction. In this case, yes, they are pointing in the same direction. Okay, so this is it for this case. Preparing the geometry a little bit with Meshmixer. We'll look at the onshape. Next video, we're going to start to work in this simulation. So, or we're going to do the mesh and then I will show you the simulation, which is a little time consuming. Okay, so I'll see you next video. Bye.